Alicia Sullivan is a hard-working single mother dedicated to giving her teenage son, Malcolm, a stable and safe life. She is rebuilding after fleeing a turbulent relationship and has moved to a new city, even changing her name to escape her abusive ex, Victor. Alicia works tirelessly, trying to balance the demands of her job and the worries of parenting Malcolm, who is increasingly testing boundaries. Despite her best efforts, Alicia's past haunts her, and she can't escape the fear that Victor might one day return to disrupt the peace she's worked so hard to establish. One afternoon, Alicia's worst fears come true. Victor, freshly released from prison, manages to track down Alicia and Malcolm through a series of cleverly orchestrated moves, even stealing Alicia's sister's phone to close in on their location. When Alicia returns home one evening, she finds Victor sitting casually with Malcolm, recounting happier memories and trying to charm his way back into their lives. For Malcolm, who barely remembers his father, this is a thrilling reunion. But for Alicia, it's an agonizing reminder of the trauma and violence Victor inflicted upon her in the past. Victor insists he's changed, speaking of his time in prison as a spiritual rebirth. He pleads for a chance to make things right, reminding Alicia of their early days and the good times they shared. Under pressure and uncertain how to keep the peace, Alicia agrees to a family dinner. Malcolm is elated at the prospect, and Alicia, ever the protective mother, can't bring herself to ruin the moment for him. During dinner, Victor's charm seems genuine. He recalls stories from the past, and for a fleeting moment, Alicia remembers the man she once loved. But underneath his softened demeanor, Alicia senses an undercurrent of tension, a quiet intensity that's only heightened when he sees she no longer wears her wedding ring. The night goes smoothly enough, but Alicia's guard remains up, uncertain whether this new version of Victor is trustworthy or merely a facade. Victor begins to reappear frequently, finding ways to insinuate himself into their lives and rekindle his relationship with Malcolm. He showers Malcolm with gifts and attention, playing the role of the doting father and presenting himself as a changed man. But behind closed doors, Victor's possessiveness and subtle manipulations begin to emerge. He pressures Alicia to remember the love they once shared, subtly implying that Malcolm deserves a united family. Over the following weeks, Alicia grows increasingly uneasy. Victor's presence becomes stifling, and he presses Alicia for a second chance with growing intensity. His control over Malcolm tightens as well, with the boy, enthralled by his father's charm, pushing against Alicia's rules and siding with Victor. When Victor's anger finally flares, Alicia realizes he hasn't changed, he's only grown more cunning. Desperate to protect herself and Malcolm, Alicia hatches a plan to escape. But Victor anticipates her move and traps her. Victor's arrival reawakens Alicia's terror, his threatening charm masking a dark intent that soon spirals into violent obsession. Though he insists he has changed, it becomes evident that Victor's treatment in prison has done little to curb his controlling nature. Alicia realizes that her past attempts to shield Malcolm from his father's manipulative influence may no longer be enough. She tries to leave with Malcolm under the cover of night, but Victor intercepts them, using both charm and intimidation to manipulate Malcolm and exert dominance over Alicia. Despite Victor's outward change, his actions expose his true instability. After a tense confrontation, he kidnaps Alicia, forcing her to accompany him to an isolated location under the pretense of working things out. As they drive to a remote spot, Alicia's fear grows. Victor's memories from prison, feelings of being buried alive by the walls, fuel his anger, and he reveals his plan to make her experience the same terror he endured. Dragging her from the car and binding her hands, he forces Alicia into a freshly dug grave. Victor's twisted satisfaction fills the air as he begins to cover her with dirt, convinced he is exacting his form of justice. He leaves her there, buried alive, her muffled screams echoing in the cold earth as he drives off. Back at their house, Victor manipulates Malcolm, feeding him a story that Alicia abandoned him and that they must rely on each other as family. Victor's continued attempts to bond with Malcolm reveal his desperation to rebuild his family, albeit under his rigid, controlling terms. Yet, his erratic behavior unnerves Malcolm, who senses the danger simmering beneath Victor's surface. Unknown to Victor, Alicia manages to claw her way out of the grave, using sheer willpower to break free from the dirt that traps her. Injured and exhausted, she stumbles her way back to safety, determined to protect her son from Victor's dangerous influence. Meanwhile, her sister, Kemlyn, grows suspicious and goes to the family's home, confronting Victor. Their heated exchange only confirms her worst fears, as Victor refuses to reveal Alicia's whereabouts and insists that he and Malcolm are leaving. As Victor tries to force Malcolm to come with him, Alicia bursts onto the scene. The shocking reunion exposes Victor's lies, and Malcolm, torn between his love for his father and loyalty to his mother, sides with Alicia. In a desperate confrontation, Victor's rage reaches its peak, and the family is forced into a harrowing standoff. The authorities arrest Victor, and Alicia, scarred but unbroken, commits to giving Malcolm a fresh start, far from the shadows of her past. Alicia's survival, both physically and emotionally, has armed her with newfound strength, allowing her to protect her son and finally break free from Victor's grip. Buried Alive and Survived is a powerful tale of resilience, illustrating the lengths one will go to protect family and reclaim freedom. Alicia's journey from victim to survivor is gripping, underscoring themes of courage and the indomitable spirit against overwhelming odds. If you enjoy watching this video, then subscribe to Angel Recaps for the latest movies explanation.